I am gaming. I am gaming. I am gaming podcast.
Hey everybody, my name is Ivica. Thank you so much for joining me on the latest episode of I'm Gaming podcast. This is a podcast about the video game industry, entrepreneurship, gaming nostalgia, and many more cool things I find to be in the same realm of business and creative ventures. Like always, first of all, a huge, enormous, big thank you goes to all of my Patreon supporters who make this podcast possible. If you want to be one of them, please check out my Patreon page and see how you can give me a buck or two and support the I'm Gaming podcast. In return, I would love to do the same for your venture, no matter if it's a game, a YouTube channel, a Twitch stream, anything and everything related to gaming, but many other cool things in the domain of tech, crypto, or whatever you might be doing. I would love to say thank you to your support by supporting you in some shape or form on my social media and networking thingies. That is why I'd like to say also please check out the links in the description below that will take you to all of my supporters and their ventures, which are awesome and amazing, so check these out as well. This is episode 109, and it's a gaming episode, gaming related episode, more precisely game design related episode, because I'll talk about LoopHero, a really cool game that I just recently discovered and started playing. Now I am completely in love with it because it's an excellent title that has some brilliant ideas that all indie teams that are working on games, especially on RPG games, should think about and employ for their own projects. So LoopHero is basically a sort of a reversed RPG where you're set in a future or past world which kind of gets disassembled and reassembled in form of a simple path that goes through basically nothingness. And your hero is a classical RPG kind of a person with a sword and shield and a desire to save the world by reassembling it. And the process of playing actually includes a process of auto combat. Whenever that same hero comes across a monster, he starts to fight it, but you as a player actually place styles and manage their equipment, gear, and their camp, upgrading them so that each loop gets better and better and better. Of course, you die all of the time and you fail all of the time, but still you get a stronger hero with each passing loop, and you learn more about the game and how you can employ their different strategies and tactics in actually placing those tiles, which can be things that benefit the hero or things that provide or generate enemies. It's a brilliant concept, it's a really simple concept, it's a really straightforward idea once you check it out, but at first you get kind of confused by the game. There is a lot of things that you kind of need to balance around and shuffle through the game. However, as you play it, it gets clearer and clearer. The learning curve is perfectly balanced and really well set out, so it's not frustrating, but it remains really interesting. The game reminds me a lot of Majesty, the Majesty series. Majesty, the fantastic or fantasy kingdom simulation, which I loved. Both games are excellent. They're also a kind of a reverse RPG thing. This is pretty unique, but very, very engaging and very smart. So those key elements, especially the deconstruction and then reconstruction of the RPG process here, with the hero, which is basically automatic, you can't influence how the hero fights, apart from giving it the boosts and equipment and potions, things like that, which are still used automatically. The actual management and playstyle comes from managing and building the map, which is really fun, really interesting, and really novel. So LoopHero as an indie game which has really basic and simple graphics, even though they're not ugly by no means, it's still a really nice game, really well designed game visually. It still manages to use its resources excellently and showcases what can be done inside of an indie team that has a really good idea and knows how to present it to the audience. So for all the fans of RPG and RPG title, LoopHero is a must check out game. So please do it, check it out and try it out. If nothing more, to see how the team employed this novel strategy of designing the game and presenting it to their players, because it has a lot of lessons that all indie designers, indie game developers can employ for their process of creating RPG games or games that fall in the broader RPG domain. Once again, LoopHero, amazing title, check it out. That's all for this episode of I'm Gaming Podcast. Thank you so much for listening to it. Thank you so much for checking it out. Like always, I'm incredibly grateful to my Patreon supporters. You all rock. If you'd like to support me, please check out the Patreon page in the description below. And $1 per month would be more than enough for you, and I would be super grateful if you can spare it. That's all. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you in precisely 7 days from now on episode 00, more precisely 110. And until then, thanks so much for listening. Have a great week and bye bye.